That's what happens when you just waking up. Hey y'all, welcome back to All Baddies Got a Story. I'm glad you're here. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Like and share the videos so that other people can see the videos. Hit the notification bell so that you are alerted when I do go live. And also check out my other featured channels on this page, like my artistry page at that girl Shanda, which has a lot of my original spoken word that's narrated by my voice, music composed by me, a lot of original songs that I wrote, composed, sang on that page, and I also sing other artists' cover songs on at that girl Shonda. Um, I also have my Win Lake Real Estate channel, my Honey Child's Candle pages, and I have other links in my profile that just leads to other social media platforms. There's also a link in my profile to my podcast, All Baddies Got a Story podcast. I also have a few episodes in my podcast playlist folder right here on this channel. If you're interested, you should definitely check it out. And if you vibe with it, you should click the link to the podcast and definitely subscribe. So, y'all, today is January 11th, 8:08 a.m. and I got 89% on my battery on my phone. That's so funny. So it's 8:08 a.m. Um, and I am located in Southern California, where a lot of the fires are happening. I actually evacuated from one place because we received evacuation alerts on our phones telling us that we need to get out and get away from the location that we were in. And we just kept getting these evacuation notices like, evacuate, get out, take your loved ones, take your pets, take your supplies, take whatever you need, your resources, and leave the area because of the fires and all this stuff. So the highways have been crazy. Um, Before the fires raged really, really bad, there were these really, really strong winds that were taking place, like really, really strong winds. Like you walking down the street and the wind is pushing you over. You're driving in the car and the wind is pushing you in the next lane. The wind was so bad. So I see how the fires in Southern California got kicked up out here. The winds were so bad, I literally watched a street sign. You know how when you're getting off the freeway, there's like a big street sign that lets you know where you are? The street sign swung and swung and swung, and then the one side broke and it was just hanging and dangling, and then that sucker just came crashing down and it almost hit a car. So the cops had to block off the freeway because it was other signs that were starting to fall, and the big palm trees, they were falling and banging against the cars. Like it was, I was like, oh my God. So they had to shut down the freeway. So it's just a lot going on out here, y'all. It's a lot going on, and you'd be lucky if you are able to evacuate to an area where there is no fires going on. But if you're in Southern California, it's like fires everywhere. So you're either in the middle of it and it's all around you, or you're like on the outskirts or on the side. I was kind of on the outskirts, but then when we got the emergency alerts to evacuate, we had to leave. And so my cousin came, and it's crazy because it all happened on my birthday, January 9th. Like fires broke out before January 9th, but on January 9th is when it like got like, I don't know, like crazy. And so, my cousin was on her way to me anyway to get me because we were going to hang out for my birthday. And she's like, the family's so scared, and they're saying that, I need to just come get you, and we need to just like try to drive to Nevada or something, or drive here or drive wherever. And I was like, yeah, that's 4.5 hours away. I was like, how's the traffic, and are you sure we're going to make it, and what if we're driving right into the fire and all, so we got all these questions. I actually documented that journey on my birthday when we were actually evacuating from where we were. So if you haven't seen that video, you should definitely go back and check that video out. I had like a lot of live coverage of like the smoke, the black smoke coming over the mountains, the fire that was breaking out. It's crazy, y'all, because like it takes nothing for the fires to spread. Like like crazy because the wind is so strong. So all it takes is just like a flame to just blow like over some into another part, and then that catches fire. And now it's breaking news just a couple hours ago that the Palisades has to be re-evacuated again because a new fire just broke out in the Palisades, and they're still trying to put the fire out that's already currently in the Palisades. So it's like breaking news, and now in Studio City, and I don't know. I'm in an area right now that I think is safe. I think. I hope. You know what I mean? Unless something breaks out over here, and then we have to evacuate from here. You know, I don't understand how. Hi, y'all. What started the fires? Yeah, I was near the fire. I had to evacuate on the 9th from where I was. What started the fire? See, me and my cousin, we were talking about how we think people are starting the fires because a lot of times wildfires break out in Southern California when it's really, really hot outside, or that's the excuse anyway, you know, because it's been told that people have started fires even in the summertime, right? And they've been caught for doing so. But it's more likely that fires break out in the summertime because it gets hot, but not that freaking hot. You know what I mean? Um, and now recently, they actually have a suspect in custody that's been affiliated with starting some of the fires. But y'all, like, there are so many fires that are broken out all over Southern California, like 11, 12, 13, 14. It's like he could not have acted alone. There's no way he could have acted alone because it's in like different areas, you know what I mean? And a lot of the areas, interestingly, a lot of the areas are like affluent areas, like near Beverly Hills and West Hollywood, Calabasas, um, Malibu, and I was by Malibu and Thousand Oaks, and where else? Santa Monica. So a lot of these areas are like affluent areas, and now it's Studio City, and now it's in the San Fernando Valley, and so it's just spreading, and there's no way that that one person that they took into custody started all these fires because it's just like popping up in random places. So I think it's like a, honestly, I'll say allegedly, I think it's an operation. I think it's an operation, and I honestly think the operation might be targeted at the wealthy. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even like, that's what I think is happening because a lot of these celebrity homes are burned down. Paris Hilton's Malibu home burned down. Singer Janae Ayoko, her family home with her kids burned down to the ground. Miley Cyrus is affected. Like a lot of like, you know, A-list celebrities' homes are being burned down. This one celebrity, I forget her name, but she was in Canada filming Star Trek, and she kept saying that she wanted to come home to her LA home, and her home burned down to the ground. And she said she was happy because she had just finished building another home in Costa Rica. So she was like, her and her family is going to be in, they're going to be in Costa Rica. She was like, they're not even going to be in America. And she was like, and she's pretty sure her insurance company is not going to pay for anything. But she said, you know, they lost a lot of people are losing their generational homes, the, you know, neighborhoods that they grew up in, um, um, family heirlooms. And this one lady was excited that she was able to find her wedding ring in the rubble. I don't know. It's crazy. It feels weird that people that we continue to kind of like move on, like people still go to work, and like how are people still going to work and like moving around and about as if what's not happening is not happening. Does that make sense? Like a lot of people have lost their lives in the fire. Um, Hundreds and thousands of people are being displaced because now they are homeless, and there are people that have lost their homes and their parents have lost their homes, and so they have, like, you know what I'm saying, like if you lost your home, you're like, okay, well, I go to my parents' house, but your parents lost their home too, so now you can't even go to your parents' house. And it's like, what are hotels doing? Are they charging people? um Maybe they are. Do they have discount rates or something? Or I don't know, it just makes you wonder how. Cause like I go, like yesterday I was out and about, right? And the place where I was out and about, it was like the Galleria Mall or something like that. the Galleria Mall, Americana or something like that, Galleria Mall. And it was a lot of people out there, but you know, it would be because it's like, what else are you going to do, right? But there were also a lot of stores in the Galleria Mall that were closed. Like a lot of, like Tiffany and Co was closed, Versace was closed, Barnes and Nobles was closed, Sephora was open, AMC movie theater was open. So I saw Moana 2 yesterday. It was really good. It was really good. But like people are kind of just trying to find things, I guess, to do to keep their mind off of everything that's going on, the ravaging of the fires and stuff. So even though it was a lot of people in the mall area yesterday, like a lot of stores were closed and they had literal signs on the door that said closed due to the fire, closed due to the, you know what I mean? And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, so if they're closed due to the fire, are we not in a safe zone? Are we not in a safe zone? Because we're walking around like, you know, moving on with our life as if we're in a safe zone. But if these stores in the mall area are closed and they're saying due to the fire, are we not in a safe zone? So it's like you don't even know. And you don't even know when the next fire is going to like break out near you and affect you and you have to move again. So I'm just confused, y'all. Me and my cousin, we're confused, and we don't know if we should just leave the state altogether. So we're just trying to figure out. I'm confused. I'm just confused, y'all. And like we were and when we were evacuating where I was from, we got caught up in the thick of the fire, and the smoke was thick, and the smell was really, really bad, and I was choking. So it's like once you evacuate into a so-called safe zone, and then you realize it's not. I don't know. I'm confused. I need advice. I don't know. I don't know. Where am I staying now? I'm in a hotel now. I'm in a hotel. Maybe it got something to do with oxygen levels and the heat. But there is no heat. We're in the dead of winter. We're in the dead of winter. It's not hot outside. I mean, it's nice. It's because it's, you know, it's Southern California, but it's not hot outside. There's no reason why the fire should have broken out. But now we're discovering that there were people actually setting the fire, and they got one suspect in custody. But he is not working alone because there are too many fires all over the place. There's no way he's working alone. It kind of feels like, and how like the wealthy, the affluent areas are being targeted. It kind of feels like that. You know how the dude, what's his name, Luigi Mangione, the dude that allegedly killed the healthcare CEO or whatever. It kind of feels like that kind of an operation where you're going, you know, for people at the top or something. I swear that's what it feels like, because I was like that. I think it's strange that, you know, a lot of affluent areas and a lot of celebrity homes and stuff are burning down to the ground. It's almost like they're being targeted, and they have a suspect in custody. So these people are purposely setting these fires, and it seems like they are purposely targeting certain people. Do you know what I'm saying? Allegedly, I'll say allegedly, because you know, but that's what it feels like. And so I remember when Luigi Mangione got arrested for allegedly, you know, killing the United Healthcare CEO. And one of the things I said was, I wonder if this is like an operation. I said, I wonder if it's like an East Coast operation, right? And then when stuff started popping up in Seattle and Oregon with people targeting CEOs over on the West Side, and I was like, oh, is this an East Coast, West Coast operation where they're just targeting CEOs and like the wealthy or whatever? Because as soon as Luigi Mangione was arrested, flyers popped up all around New York City targeting CEOs with their faces on the posters and saying that they were wanted, and you know what kind of wanted we're talking about because of what happened to the United Healthcare CEO. So, and I was really like, in one of my previous videos, I was really trying to like put the dots together. Like, is this a East Coast operation? Is it an East Coast West Coast? Are they going to start spreading? And it did, because the same thing that happened in New York popped up over in Seattle and Oregon, and now in Southern California, the affluent neighborhoods are being targeted, and all of these famous people's homes are being burned down. So it sounds like it's an operation, like a big one. You know what I mean? Allegedly. I'll say allegedly. And I'm only saying that because of like what's happening and how it's happening. Oxygen levels might be changing. Back in the day where bugs ruled the world before humans, the oxygen wasn't meant for humans. It might be changing. Or the fires could be a window of opportunity for them to get someone unexpected. Ooh. You know what? Somebody else said that to me the other day. Was it my cousin? Somebody said, do you think that all these fires are being set like this to be used as a distraction to like target certain people or certain, because if it's all like this distraction and destruction and chaos going on, people are in a panic and a frenzy over the fire, so no one's going to really pay attention to, what's going on like behind the scenes. And I was like, damn. And it's like, it's even a shame that you have to think like that. You know what I mean? It's a shame that but there's always like a plan behind a plan behind a plan. You know what I mean? And maybe. So the fact that you said what somebody already said to me the other day, I think it was my cousin. Maybe. Maybe there's a master plan that is the fire is distracting everybody from. But I'm just trying to understand how like everyone is, how we can continue going on with our days and stuff as if chaos isn't all around us. But I guess I don't know. Would y'all evacuate the state of California altogether? Or would y'all just kind of stay here? And I see like videos, like I see videos all over TikTok with like Angelinos crying, about losing their neighborhoods that they grew up in. Like, this is my neighborhood home. This is all I know. This is where I grew up. And it's like everything's burnt to the ground. And if you're making fun of us, fuck you. And I don't know. I wonder if any outside people are helping, because as usual, whenever there's like some type of devastation going on in America, you never really hear about outside forces from other countries coming to help with resources, supplies, or anything. It's like America has to always take the brunt of everything on their own. What's interesting is that I recently saw a video of Mexico, um, lining up and coming in to help fight the fires and stuff. But I mean, that actually makes sense that they would. It's like they're connected to us anyway. It's just an imaginary line that separates them from us, which clearly Trump is trying to eliminate that imaginary line because he wants to make Mexico a state instead of a country. He wants it all to be reconnected back. Yeah, I think he wants all of South America, and from Canada all the way down to South America and the Pacific islands like Hawaii, Guam, and all that. I think he wants all of that to just be connected as states instead of separate countries, which is quite interesting to me because it is America anyway, right? Central America, South America, Canada is North America. It just is called Canada. All of it's America though. So it's interesting. You miss me. You do? Well, where did I go? I thought I was here. I know. Oh, I kind of fell off with my lives, right? I was going to do a live yesterday, and then things just went in a completely different direction. Like, paying attention to the fires, making sure that it's not coming my way where I have to evacuate again and stuff like that. And then I just kind of wanted to take my mind off of it. So I just like went out to the Galleria Mall area and just kind of hung out. A lot of the stores were closed down because of the fire. So, but I went to like the movies in Saw Moana, got something to eat. My cousin, I hung out with my cousin later on. And so, yeah, I fell out. I didn't do my live yesterday. I probably should have, just to kind of show you guys the stores that are closed down because of the fire, and just kind of like how people are handling it. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll go out and record and do that. If you had the money, you go somewhere else. Are you in Southern California? I thought he was building a border from Mexico. Originally, that's what I think in his first presidency, that's originally what he was gunning for. But now he wants to connect Canada, as he wants to make Canada a state instead of a separate country. since it's basically North America, he wants to reconnect Mexico and make it a state instead of a country. But he's being combated by the new woman president, the first woman president of Mexico. He's being combated by her. And it's interesting because the prime minister of Canada is actually resigning. So I find that interesting that he's resigning in the wake of Trump wanting to make it a state instead of a country. So I don't know what's going on there. Who the new prime minister of Canada is going to be, or if there's something being worked out where Canada is going to be officially become a state instead of a country, which would be kind of interesting. You're in Michigan. How is it out there? It's probably cold out there. There's no reason why any fires should be breaking out where you guys are. It should be like freezing out there. And if there are fires breaking out, somebody is setting them. I don't care what nobody say. Somebody is setting them. But I had a feeling some people were like behind the fires breaking out over here. I knew it because it just doesn't make sense. It's not hot. So So you're in Michigan, and you said if you had the money, you would leave. If you had the money, you would leave Michigan, or if you had the money, you would leave Southern California or the state of California. I don't know. I'm caught up. I'm in a catch-22. I don't know. My cousin and I are confused, so we're just kind of. You leave California? Wow. And go where? Leave California and go where? I wonder where everyone's going to be flooding into. Like, if there are people that are going to be leaving California, are they going next door? I wonder, like, and it's crazy because, people's whole lives are burned down in these houses. So that means like their identification, like their licenses, their passports, like probably titles to cars, deeds to homes, insurance, wills. You know what I'm saying? Like people have, safe places like for their stuff in their home. And their shit is burned down to the ground. So they like lost everything. Like how do you travel with nothing, no identification or nothing? How do you do that? It's a good thing that there are no hospitals. I haven't heard of any hospitals being burned down, so that's good because people are going to need hospitals for like smoke inhalation and fatalities and things like that. I haven't heard anything about hospitals being burned down. Just a lot of businesses, over 12,000 businesses and homes. Honestly, more than that, I'm sure. But I don't know. I don't know, y'all. If you're not subscribed to All Baddies Got a Story, please subscribe to the channel. Like and share the video so other people can see it, and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I do go live. And check out my other featured channels on this page. You're not sure where you'd go? If money wasn't a factor, you'd probably go to Sweden and live under the northern lights or something. I'm not sure. Something somewhere else warm. Hmm. You like oh, that's interesting. So if you had it, you go to Sweden and live under the northern lights. Huh. It sounds like that's on your bucket list. It sounds like it's on your bucket list to go see the northern lights because that's very specific. Or somewhere warm. I don't know. It's like day by day with us right now. So every day we wake up and we convene and we're like, okay, so what's the breaking news now? Where are the new fires now? Are we in, the area? Do we need to evacuate? Or what are we going to do? Are we just going to leave altogether? I'm sure it's a lot. And it's crazy too because it was an influx of people that was moving out of California. Like just literally maybe like a year ago. It was like an influx of people leaving California and they were moving like to Texas. A lot of people were moving to Texas. There's a lot of new real estate development going on in Texas, like Dallas. in Houston. Um, and there are some people that live there that told me, like some people that live in Dallas, that live in Houston, they come out here to California, to Southern California for like contracting projects and stuff like that. And they come out here to work. But they were, I talked to a lot of people and they told me that the pricing for the cost of living out in Dallas is going up like astronomically higher than what it usually is. And it's because a lot of people from California are leaving California and moving there. And so, because it's making the market boom, the real estate market boom, all the prices are being driven up. And so he was actually upset about it because he was like, rent was affordable and now everything is going up because these, people are coming in and buying up everything. And now they're trying to make everything high and price us out the neighborhoods. And I was like, that seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? What do they call that? Gentrification. Gent- oh, help me, y'all. Gentrification. I have to work around my tongue. I have like a little lisp. So sometimes my tongue gets caught up. I think it's called gentrification when that happens. When people with a lot of money move in and drive up the prices and everything, and then it prices people out of the neighborhood. That happened in a lot of places in California. It happened in San Francisco. Like, I used to just think that San Francisco was just expensive always. But then I learned that San Francisco wasn't always expensive, that it was actually pretty affordable. um, and that a lot of melanated people occupied the area. And then, as an influx of people came in with a lot of money, it drove the prices up in San Francisco and pushed out the people that used to be able to afford to live there. And so now San Francisco is ridiculously expensive, kind of like New York City. So, and they're trying to make New York like a mecca for the wealthy, but I think it's already that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know why they would say they're trying to make it a mecca when it for the wealthy when it already is. And New York is expensive. I used to work in New York. I used to work for ABC News in New York. I used to work at Sony Music Entertainment, and then it switched to Sony BMG for Columbia Records. I used to work at MTV in New York. And let me tell you, because I worked over there so much, and like New York was my playground basically. And so I aspired to like owning a brownstone one day or living in New York because I'm like, I work over here, so I might as well live over here. And I went to one of my friends' apartments in New York. She's like, "Oh yeah, Shonda, come over." Like, cause like we went and hung out. Like, the record label was having like an industry party or something, and so we went to the industry party and like hung out, had drinks, networked with people or whatever. And then she's like, "Oh, you can come back and crash at my place or whatever." And I'm like, "All right," So we're all tipsy and shit. So I go back to her apartment, and it was literally a studio. And you walk, soon as you walk in, the bathroom's to the right and the kitchen is directly in front of you. I kid you not, the door opens, bathroom to the right, kitchen right in front of you without even like moving. And then you look to the left and it opens up into like a big area where it was like her bed, a couch, a TV, and the big window that showed other buildings across the street. But and I think she was paying like almost $2,000 at the time for that studio in New York. So I could just imagine how much it is now. And that was in the 2000s. That was in the early 2000s. So I could just imagine what that studio that she was renting back then for almost 2 grand. That shit is probably like 4 grand right now. It's so crazy. So crazy. Okay. It's so crazy. So the fact that they said that they're gonna try to make New York a mecca for the wealthy, I'm like, it's already been that. It's already been that. And then, so whatever. It's interesting, y'all. Um, it's interesting. And I also wonder, like, after everything finishes burning down, clearly people are going to want to rebuild. But I'm wondering how it's going to affect the real estate market. So I have my real estate license out here, right, in California. And I've been trying to get back into selling real estate because I always tell people it takes money to make money, and you always have to have like a side hustle or a job on the side in order to be able to, pay for your marketing fees and pay for your real estate association fees and stuff like that. And I just never had positions that paid enough for me to get back into it like that, because you have to pay for rent and you have to pay for food and you have to pay for like everything else, so it kind of messes with your funds to be able to pay for what you need to pay for with regards to business. So it's just kind of always a struggle for me to get back into it. But I'm wondering like how the real estate market is going to look now. Like I'm because essentially it's just going to be land for sale. It's basically starting over. Like after everything finishes burning down, bulldozers are going to come in and flatten back out the land, and it's going to be like literally starting from scratch. Literally starting from scratch in the Pacific Palisades. Literally starting from scratch in certain parts of Santa Monica. Literally starting from scratch in Malibu. Literally starting from scratch, like wherever the fires are, you literally are starting back from scratch. And the Pacific Palisades, so I wonder if they're gonna like charge a shitload for land so that you can rebuild on, or if they're gonna bring the prices down. I'm really interested to see what President-elect Trump is gonna do, like how he's gonna handle this situation, because this is interesting. There's gonna be a lot of jobs for contractors for sure, for rebuilding, builders, contractors. It's going to be a lot of jobs for real estate agents because there's going to be a lot of building taking place, right? I'm not saying that I'm, excited about the benefit of being able to take to benefit from that. I mean, it would be beneficial, you know what I'm saying? But work wise, but I just wonder how it's all going to be handled. So I feel like I'm going to be reporting on that a lot, the housing market, because I want to see how it's going to change out here. Because it's going to change. Oh yes, it is. What time is it? Um, I don't know. Is anybody on here from Southern California? Are y'all experiencing the fires with me, or am I the loner in this? Is anybody here from Southern California? I feel like going back to sleep, y'all. I've been going through a lot. Well, we all been going through a lot. I can't complain because, I know that there's always someone that has it worse than me. So I'm not going to complain. And like I've been going through like a lot with just like my like past employers and stuff like that. And that's the story in and of itself. But I have videos and videos and videos that connect the dots of that story. So, and it's interesting because the connected dots of that story actually leads up to what happened with like the demise of everything. Um, it's interesting how everything played out, because you would think that a person wouldn't be as bold as to like do certain things, especially when they know that it's well documented, their retaliation tactics against me, you know what I mean, like well documented. And that's one of the reasons why I did document everything, because you need a story behind everything that's going on. If something just happens out of the blue and you have no backstory or nothing, no evidence to prove everything that was going on, it's like what's the point of talking about it, right? But um but I have a lot of documentation, so I can talk about it. I can talk about it. They probably thought I was going to come on camera and scream and, oh, they did this to me and they did that to me and they probably was just waiting to come online to look at me. They probably online right now looking at me. I was waiting to see what come out my mouth to see if she gonna tell everything she gonna say. Don't worry, don't worry. Eventually it'll come out. However it come out. And I'm not concerned about it because I know I didn't do anything wrong at all. So people have to be careful how they retaliate against you because there's no reason, especially when there's no reason for it, you know? But it is what it is. It is what it is. I have a lot of great stories that's going to make great books. So, how's everybody? What is today? Is Saturday. How's everybody doing this Saturday morning? Morning. How's everybody doing? Are you getting up, going to breakfast? You know what? Now that I think about it, I actually have a free breakfast at Denny's for my birthday. They text messaged me and said, "Happy birthday, Shanda. Come and get your free breakfast at Denny's." And I've been going to all other places except for that. So maybe I'll go and do that. I don't know. Maybe me and my cousin will go and take Denny's up on their offer. If they're open, child. Because, businesses have been closing because of the fire. So I guess we have to find one that's actually open. You know what never closed, though, y'all? Can you guess? Can you guess what never closes? Can you guess what never closes? The liquor store. The liquor store never closes. The liquor store is always open and doing I mean, in power outages, liquor stores stay open. I have been in 2 power outages so far. Liquor stores open, lights on. I guess they said look, this is the perfect time. The power is out. People don't have nothing to do. No TV, no electricity to do nothing. So we might as well just stay open so they can come on in and get them a bottle or two or something. Oh, that's so funny. The liquor store never closes, y'all. Even 7-Eleven closes if there's a power outage. Liquor stores stay open. And where I'm at, I'm like in the thick of things. I have a lot of action going on around me. So I'm wondering what I'm gonna get into today. But whatever I get into, I'll make sure to take y'all along with me. I should have took y'all along with me yesterday. I should have, but I didn't. But I'll definitely take y'all along with me today, whatever I get into. I'm tired. I feel like going back to sleep, which I will probably do because, you know. OMG, it's Saturday. It's Saturday. Now, normally at this time of the morning when I go live, where am I? Do you know where I usually am? Do you know where I usually am on Saturdays when I go live? I had planned to take this whole weekend off for my birthday. Hmm. I woke up thinking about my kids, is what I thinking a lot about my kids. That's kind and just wondering where they are as usual and if they are alive and well because no one seems to want to answer me that question. Um, do you guys have any advice for if an ex runs off with your kids and hides your kids from you. I feel like I've taken so many avenues that, you know, following proper protocol and things like that, to take the different avenues that you need to take in order to try to bring about some kind of resolution. And then there's still no resolution, you know, because it's like people are hiding. I don't understand. Like, I'm starting to feel that I should do like a missing persons report on the X or something. Do you know what I mean? Because I was trying to do it on my kids, and like they were giving me a hard time doing a missing report or like Amber Alert or something like they like I don't understand how government officials give you a hard time from doing stuff like that. Um, it makes me feel like a bigger entity is involved with this. Like it's like I feel like it's way bigger than I can even imagine with the people that are involved in this matter, because it just doesn't make sense to me how a biological parent can be completely left in the dark about what's going on with their kids. And it baffles me how an ex can get away with it, you know? And how a person that has no evidence of nothing can just use lies to like push forward an agenda. But a lot of people lie. A lot of people lie, right? And a lot of people lie and they get away with things. It seems like it seems like liars win a lot. um it's interesting because at the Golden Globes there's this video circulating on the internet, and it says at the Golden Globes award show recently they mocked God. And I was like, I wonder what they mean by that. So when I watched it, because that's the name of the title, like they mocked God at the Golden Globes, and then I watched it, and then I saw what they meant by it, right? And the host literally was like, yeah, so there's no love for God in this godless city, talking about Los Angeles, Los Angeles. And literally after that, everything went up in flames. Everything went up in flames. After that, everything went up in flames. So, what I do know is that there are no coincidences. That I know. That I know. There are no coincidences. Um, I'm not saying that, you know, someone set the fires because of that, but it's just a lot of firsts happening that have never happened, you know? Um, People who are born and raised in Southern California, they've never seen anything like this before. When people say a brush fire here or wildfire there, people don't panic as much. They're just like, okay, well, the fire people will take care of it. And the fire people are not able to take care of it. Like it's been 0% contained for days. And now they're saying it's 8% contained. 8%? You know how long far that is from 100%? Apparently, there is no more water to be able to be used. And now it's being said that there was a reservoir of water that was overlooked that wasn't used. And people are wondering why. Allegedly, you got to say that. So, the city of Los Angeles. um, I guess this city. I was about to say something. I stopped myself. I'm wondering if Los Angeles is kind of like Las Vegas. Los Angeles, Las Vegas, because they say Las Vegas is Sin City. And even though they call Los Angeles the city of angels, um, a lot of people also say that this is a sinful or a godless city or whatever. I don't know. That's just what I've been told. Um, is this like reckoning day? Like, what the hell is this? Some people are saying, oh, it's just, some people say it's karma. Some people say, I guess people say a lot of things, but like I said, one thing I know for sure is there are no coincidences. So I've seen a lot of firsts in my life, and I'm not like a, I wouldn't call myself a, and what do you call it, Angelino? But just from talking to a lot of them that grew up here, because I was around a lot of them, and they weren't taking the fire seriously. They're like, oh, it's not, whatever, it is what it is. And I said, well, have you ever seen a fire of this magnitude in Southern California before? And they all grew up here, the ones I was talking to, and they said no. I said, so why are you acting like it's not a big deal? That is, it can't reach over here. Has it been Pacific Palisades like that before? And they were like, no. They said it's their first time seeing it, and they grew up out here. So we don't know what's going to transpire, but um, it's my nightshirt. It's my pajamas, y'all. It's PJs. I'm still in bed, if you can't tell. I literally woke up, went to the bathroom, and was like, oh, let me go live since I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday, which would have been perfect to do it yesterday because I was out and about. Stay in the shirt all day? No, I can't stay in the shirt all day. Eventually, I'm going to get dressed, but I'm still kind of tired. There's been a lot going on, a lot. And eventually, I'm going to fill you guys in on everything that has been going on because it definitely needs to be talked about. You had two coffees, a 12 pack Starry. What is a 12 pack? What you got? A 12 pack Starry? What is that? What's a 12 pack Starry? Oh, God, that's what I need to get coffee. That's why I feel this way. I can make it, but it's not the kind of coffee I like. Maybe I'll go to the coffee shop down the street. I don't know what that is. I never heard of that. No, I don't want to go get coffee. Now I'm gonna have to get dressed. Maybe I'll ask my cousin to bring me some coffee. Like, cuz, you on your way over here? Give me some coffee. Give me two coffees. I think they got coffee at the front. But, you know when you just used to a certain coffee. So anything else is just like, I don't know. No, I've never heard of that drink. I don't know what Starry is. Is it like an energy drink? No, I'm not. Eventually, I'm going. No, you're funny. Is everybody still in bed or is it just me? Lemon lime soda. Oh, okay. I never heard of it. Maybe it's like a West Virginia thing. Yeah, y'all. I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go back to sleep. So, Try a starry forest dream next. Why? Like drink it on live? Why? I never even heard of it. We probably don't have it out here. You're in, maybe it's a West Virginia thing. I know you said you're West Virginia. Maybe it's a West Virginia thing. I never heard of that. Your cat has her butt in your face. Y'all come on here saying some crazy stuff. Another moderator just handled this. How does another moderator handle something on my channel? I did not assign a moderator. Look, I keep hitting the button and it says another moderator just handled this. Oops. Hold on. I had to take a screenshot of that because I'm not understanding how that's even possible. I would have to assign a moderator to my page, right? In order for them to moderate anything. So I'm not sure how someone's handling. You have to have a lot of subs for mods now. How many? I have enough because they keep talking about a moderator is handling something. There are troll mods now. No, I just think that there are people who like hack into people's channels and, mess with people's channels and steal people's content and stuff like that. That's what I think. Or that's what I know because I'm not the only one that complain about it. So a lot of YouTubers that complain about people messing with their channels and messing with their content. And it sucks how, like, as a content creator, you put so much time and effort into creating and building what you create and build. And then someone out of nowhere can just come to your page, view it, and say, oh, this looks like this would work for me. And they just proceed to take your pictures and take whatever it is, download your videos or take whatever, and then create completely different pages with your content and reach out to your followers and make requests and do all kind of things as if they are you, you know? And that's identity theft. And it happens a lot. It happens a lot. Like my mail is being stolen right now as I like literally it's being stolen. How do you have a PO box for 8 months and you only get one piece of mail in 8 months? And you do mail transfers and all kind of stuff and you still don't get any mail. So it's like who's still my dad told me that my mail was going to my mom or something like that. But my mom has never told me that she's getting my mail. But my dad is saying that my mom is getting my mail. And I'm just like, well, why is she not telling me that she's getting my mail? Like that doesn't even make sense. And how is that even possible? I'm like, I don't, I've never, I haven't lived with her. So how is it even possible for her to get my mail? Shit is crazy, y'all. Shit is crazy out here in these streets. Seen a scammer stream their scammers. Now watch this one. When Trump gets to the internet, it'll be safe again. That's what you think? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I know he doesn't want TikTok to be banned because he said, his base of young folks was on TikTok that voted for him. So he said he's going to try not to get TikTok banned. And Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, I guess the Facebook CEO, he's saying now that he's going to limit fact checking, which isn't good. because you always want to check the facts and not just put false narratives out there. But I know a lot of people thrive off of false narratives and, propaganda. Because if you have enough propaganda in the media, then you confuse people. They don't know what's real, they don't know what's fake. And a lot of people can get away with a lot of shit, unfortunately. So it's crazy. But anyhow, I was telling everyone about the Southern California fires out here and how we keep getting evacuation notices to evacuate certain areas. And I recently had to evacuate from an area I was at on the 9th. So my birthday kind of went left. So I think yesterday I was continuing to make up for my birthday, like the parts that I wanted to do that I didn't get a chance to do. Because after evacuating and going through everything we were going through on my birthday, we went to eat. But then after that, I was so tired. Like, I didn't have energy to do anything else. I was so tired. So yesterday, I kind of made up for some of that. So I guess we'll see what we're gonna get into today. But something tells me, yeah, I got some business to handle. Mm. Even though these celebrities' homes are being burned down, I guess the good thing is that they have money, right? So they can always just transport to another home. If they have multiple homes, they can just transport to another home, right? So they probably don't give a damn. I mean, they probably care, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say that, but Paris Hilton's home in Malibu got burnt down. She could just go stay at her family's hotel, right? Until she rebuilds or something or go to another home. So I guess that's the upside for them, right? Hmm. But yeah, so I wanted some advice in regards to what y'all would do um, to try to find your kids. Um, I started talking about it and then I was answering some questions or reading some comments. But as soon as I just said that too, somebody fell off the live. So I know that the people that I'm talking about that are hiding my kids are the main ones, some of them anyway, that are watching me. That I know for a fact. And I find it interesting that they'll watch me, like talk about it, and they'll watch me. Do you know what I mean? But then you continue to hide. Somebody else just felt like you'll just continue to hide. Why are you hiding? I want to know if my kids are alive and well. That's what I want to know. And I asked that question to the ex's current spouse, and she refused to answer the question. Instead, she said, well, all my kids are fine, are doing good. And I said, I didn't ask about your kids. I asked about mine. And she refused to answer it. So, I mean, that could be a manipulation tactic, or, you know, it could be like a, mm, yeah. So it's a manipulation tactic. It's, um, it's being used as a way of trying to hurt me further, right? People are so like, people are so ill. And then it makes you wonder, not even makes you wonder, it just makes you lose some hope in humanity when you deal with really immature people. Um, you definitely got to watch, be careful with who you get into relationships with. You definitely have to be careful with who you marry, if you marry. definitely have to be careful who you have kids with, because a lot of times there are people who will purposely try to have kids with you or want to have kids for you solely so that they can try to have control over you. You know what I mean? Like they'll want to have a certain amount of kids, like a specific number of kids, or but sometimes people will want to have kids to try to hang on to the person, right? If they feel like they're at risk of losing the person, then they'll want to go ahead and have kids so they can try to hold on to the person. And then if the relationship still ends up going south, then it's like, then revenge tactics. And the kids are usually used as pawns when it comes to revenge tactics and things like that. And I've learned so much over the years, and I've definitely learned, what I want from what I don't want. And I definitely learned to not ignore red flags and to pay attention to certain things, um, because it'll save me a lot of um, hurt. It'll save me from a lot of hurt in the long run. Um, and I think that's another reason why some females, that either choose to be to themselves or they're really, really picky when it comes to dating or settling down with people. Because after you have gone through certain things with certain people, you know, it really it puts you on guard. And I'm not saying like I'm on guard where like I just wouldn't trust anybody else again. I'm past all of that, right? I've definitely healed myself. So I'm past all of that. But um it's 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 not hard to like see through bullshit is what I'm saying. Like once you've encountered it and you've experienced it for a certain amount of years, you see patterns and you see, what I'm saying, it becomes easy to pinpoint and discern certain things. And so because of that, it becomes easy to weed out the bad seeds. And unfortunately, there are a lot of bad seeds. Not all, but they are, a lot of bad seeds. However, I also do understand that, nobody is perfect. And obviously, right, I don't feel that I'm perfect or anything. But like I said, when you get to a certain point where you've experienced certain things and you know enough to know what you want and what you don't want, um, the pool gets real limited. It gets real limited because it's not a lot of people that fit in that pool. Unfortunately, right? It's a lot of people that don't fit in that pool. So you just kind of be like, well, you know, hopefully the right person will come along, and if they don't, then they just don't. But yeah, I think it's not a bad thing to be picky. Um, and I always say, that's why sometimes people go for folks that are in their 20s, or even teens, 16, 17, 18. And people definitely shouldn't target minors, but a lot of guys do like to date really young girls, females. And I know it's because they haven't had a lot of experiences that would make them stop and question things. They'll just kind of just go along to get along because they don't know yet what they don't like and what they don't, what they do like, and they're still growing and learning these things, right? And so because of that, they may be easier to be controlled and molded, right? So yeah, guys will go for younger girls because they feel like they can control them, or they feel like, they'll be more lax because they don't know, right? Or and so that's understandable. But I get hit on by guys in their 20s all the time, and but I'm really leery of dating anybody in their 20s because, first of all, I feel like guys aren't mature enough at that age, number one. And number two, They have a lot to learn. They have a lot to learn, and it's a lot they're going to experience and a lot they're going to go through. And I just feel like, and I'm not trying to control anybody. I'm not trying to mold anybody. I'm not trying to, none of that, like that's not on my brain. It's not an agenda. It's not on my heart. I would want a person to be exactly who they are. And because you're in your 20s and you're still growing and learning, you're just like in a completely different place mindset wise from where I am. And so I don't feel that it would mesh. We would mesh very well. So that's what I try to explain to 20 something year olds when I tell them, no, no, thank you, or no, I don't think it would work. And, you know, and they always come with the, well, I'm mature, and I know how to do this, and I know how to treat a lady, and I know, and I'm just like, you don't even know the half of it. Not saying that guys in their 20s can't be mature, but just like you have so much to learn and to grow through. Like you have no idea. You have no idea like this world we live in and the different people in it and how they affect you, and you know what I mean? Because over time you literally learn that there are good people, there are bad people, and there are evil people in this world. And I always resort back to Frederick Wilhelm Nietzsche's book Good, Bad, and Evil, because that's exactly what it is. And you learn that over time. um, it's always different levels, just like we have different layers, and we have light sides of us and dark sides of us, and some of us are more in our light, some of us are more in our shadow. Like certain things you learn over time, and you definitely learn the three types of people in this world, and you have to have certain experiences in order to be able to discern those three types of people, because if you don't, you will end up in a situation that I came out from a few years ago. Um, and I don't hold any hate in my heart or anything like that, because I think that's a strong, heavy energy to carry. So I definitely don't harbor any hate in my heart for anybody. Um, but I do hold people accountable for their actions. And I'm not saying that, I couldn't get out of sorts and want to choke a bitch. And what I mean by that is like when I was talking to the ex's current spouse, and she told me, it was via text message. I should post those text messages on my community tab. And she told me that I was a surrogate and I was paid for my services about my biological kids that I wanted forever and a day and planned to have and to raise and all that stuff. And you tell me, if I'm not gonna lie, y'all. If we were face to face and she said that shit to my face, I don't even need to speak the words, do I? I'm a nice person. I'm a sweet person. But when you fuck with my kids and you cross my kids and you do anything detrimental to my kids, if you use my kids in any negative form, that's grounds for an ass whooping. I bet you she will not say that shit to my face. Because I've been in her face before, years ago. And she got shook, real shook, and reached over and grabbed her walker. And, like she had to stabilize herself or something. And then that's when I kind of was just like, oh, let me not go there. Because she clearly looked like she already fucked up with her walker and everything. Now, I don't know if she still used a walker. But, anyway, I'm going to get off of that. I dare bitch to say that shit to my face. I dare you to say it to my face. Because when I find my kids and I get my kids back, I dare you to say that shit to my face. And I know you watch me because I am very interesting to you. Anyway. So anyway, I'm going to get off of this live. Ugh, y'all. Talking about weeding out the... Be careful who you have kids with. Be careful who you decide to settle down and marry. Be careful, be careful, be careful. I can't stress that enough. Now, I also said that you got to go through certain things in order to have the experience, in order to even understand anything, right? And there's always going to be people that who have already gone through what you may be about to go through, and they're going to be they're going to warn you, right? I had warnings about the ex from people. I did. I had warnings. But you know how when you see something, when you don't see what other people see, um, sometimes most people need to see things for themselves, right? Most people have to see things for themselves. They're not going to necessarily just, and I think that's rightfully so. That's how you learn, right? That's how you learn. You can't always just go with what somebody tells you to do, because then, you know, you know, um, and you ignore your intuition. I ignore my intuition a lot too. So regardless of people warning me, there were like when I got in the thick of it, there were a lot of red flags, and my intuition was telling me that something wasn't right, but I didn't know enough about my intuition to pay attention to it then. You a feeling that you get, but you don't know enough to pay attention to it, right? And a lot of narcissists, they play on that weakness. As they play on gullible people, on people that they feel are naive, that people that they feel are gullible, on people that they feel, um, walk around with rose-colored glasses. That's like easy prey, and it's like, yeah, we can get that one. We can get that one. I remember one time I was talking to the ex's mother, and she literally stopped in the middle of the conversation and said, "Oh, you're one of those. You're one of those." And I was like, the fuck she mean by that? You know what I mean? Um, but they know an easy target. Sometimes they feel like they know an easy target, and then they fuck around and they find out it wasn't so easy. And then they regret fucking with you after they realize that it wasn't easy to fuck with you. I got some people that's experiencing that shit with me right now. They fucked with me because they thought I was an easy target. And then they fucked around and found out that I wasn't so easy of a target. And it's because I had been through some shit to learn some shit in order to discern some shit, right? And so the whole time, these motherfuckers thought I was an easy target, and I was watching them trying to make me a target. I was watching them the whole time. They thought they was playing on me, And I was watching them try to play on me. Ain't that some shit? They got agendas and missions and plans and operations and shit, tactics and shit that they putting together to try to target me. And the whole time I'm watching them plan out they attack, plan out they, you know what I'm saying? Like knowing what they gonna come with before they even come with it, and then leaving them confused in a motherfucker. Like, how the fuck she know? How the fuck? Why we keep? Why this keep blowing up in our face? Why? 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 Because you fucking with a target that you thought was an easy target. That wasn't an easy target. Because the person that you thought was an easy target was watching you make them a target and was laughing at you the whole time. And then when they realize that they know that they was making you a target the whole time and that you was sitting back watching them do what they do the whole time, ooh baby, the mask come off. And they get real angry because they know that you see them. And they know that you really see them for who they are. And they don't like it because they playing on everybody else around them. And everybody else around them see them completely different. They don't see them, but they know you see them for who they are. So they ramp up the retaliation tactics. They ramp up the efforts to really come after you because they are angry because you know who they are. But if they weren't trying to be so fucking evil and trying to target an innocent person just because they're trying to do some type of manipulation or ritual or energy harvesting or whatever it is they fucking doing, if they weren't trying to be so fucking evil, right? So I think that should be a warning to a lot of motherfuckers like that try to make innocent people targets. You have no idea how easy of a target a person is. And you won't know until you get into the thick of it. You never know the ones that you're watching to target. You never know if they are watching you and how they're watching you and what they're reporting back about you because they see clearly what you're doing. That's why they work hard to hide you, or they work hard to get rid of you, or they work hard to retaliate against you because they don't want you blowing a cover to everybody else around them. They don't want you to blow their cover. Oh no, she really sees us, or he really knows who we are. We got to get rid of them because then they'll go around and tell everybody how we are and who we are. And it'll make us look bad to the people that know us as good. So we got to get rid of them to protect the mask, right? I know that's what set the X off once I really saw through, when all the illusions were stripped away, when them rose-colored glasses fell off, baby. And I really saw, shit took a drastic turn. And now my kids are hidden. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's deep out here in these streets, y'all. It's very, very, very deep. There are good people, there are bad people, and there are evil people. And it is your job to do the work to be able to discern between the three types. And that's just period. That's just period. That's why you'll find people that don't have a whole lot of people around them. You know, it's because they got to protect their energy. They got to see what motherfuckers coming with. They got to, you know. But when you around a whole lot of different energies, you know, you gotta be careful. You just gotta be careful because there's always going to be somebody targeting you because they think you're an easy target. There's always somebody watching, right? It's interesting. Hello. It's quite interesting. You learn a lot. I always joke that I feel like I got a whole like psychology education just from the relationship that I came out from. Like a psychological education. Yes. I was like, damn, I went to school for psychology in my past relationship and didn't even know that's what I was doing. You learn a lot about the mental. You learn a lot about mental illnesses. You learn a lot about severe jealousy and envy. You learn a lot about uh, mother wound, father wounds. You learn a lot about uh, adult children, meaning there are adults who still have the mindset of like a 7 year old or an 8 year old. Um, there are some adults that never got past that point mentally, right? Because something may have happened to them from that age group that like severely traumatized them or damaged them or something. And so, they grow up and become an adult, but mentally they're still that child in their mind, right? Because whatever happened to them at that young age, it kind of kept them in that spot, and they never were able to grow past it or heal past it. And you know we grow up with a lot of wounds that are unforeseen, and we grow up thinking that everything is okay with us, right? Not realizing that later on something or someone could do something or say something to trigger that wound from so many years ago, that wound that we compartmentalized in a certain part of our minds and put a lock on it and kind of threw away the key because we decided that we would never open that part of our mind again. We would just leave that box closed because it's too hurtful. It's too much hurt there. So we just closed that box up and threw away the key. And then something or someone comes along and triggers whatever is in that box in that part of your mind, and it comes flying open, and then all hell breaks loose, right? You go back to that 7 year old, that 8 year old, that 9 year old kid that you were, right? And it's interesting because there are a lot of people that understand that shit. There are a lot of people that understand that shit, and they purposely use it to trigger you. It's mind manipulation. Like if they know something that's very hurtful to you, something that they can use to really crush you or break you, or at least that's what they think. You know what I mean? And 9 times out of 10, they're able to be successful with their manipulation tactics. And then you find the few that you're not able to do that with, right? I've experienced that from a lot of different people. A lot of different people. I've experienced it from coworkers, I've experienced it from bosses, I've experienced it from parents, I've experienced it from siblings, I've experienced it from all kind of people, right? Exes, ex-in-laws, and I've experienced it from all kinds of people, right? Where they use these tactics, these manipulation tactics, where they use hurtful situations in order to um, trigger something in you to hurt you mentally, to mentally hurt you through through verbiage, right? And it's really sad. And when you see it happening, like a lot of times when I see it happening and I realize what's happening, I study them is what I do. I study them to see, you know, how they say what they say. I study their face expressions. I just watch them, and then after they do what they felt that was going to be um, something that was going to give them power over me, right? Mental wise, to like crush and hurt me and stuff. After they're done, I literally look at them because in my mind, what I'm thinking is, did that make you feel good? Do you feel better about yourself now? Did you accomplish what you set out to accomplish when you said what you said to try to get a rise out of me? To try to use mental mind manipulation to control my emotions? And you know what's interesting? Now, I don't say that, I just think it, right? After they're finished with what they're saying. And then when I react in a completely different way that they didn't expect me to, the whole face just frowns. The whole body motion is just, oh, damn, I wasn't successful in fucking with her. Damn, that whole dark magic or whatever I was trying to do, all that negativity and toxicity that I just spewed on her, all that shit just backfired. My mission wasn't accomplished. Her soul wasn't crushed. Damn. And you really see the disappointment in their face, like, fuck, why didn't it work? It usually works on other people. Why didn't it work? Because while you were doing what you were doing, I was literally watching you do what you were doing. And I knew what you were doing before you did it. But I just watched you and studied you because I wanted to see for myself how it was all going to play out. And let me tell you, when you don't give those people that kind of power over you, it crushes their soul. They do it to crush you, but when you don't give them the reaction they're looking for, baby, you crush them. It all backfires like a ball that hits against the wall. As soon as you throw that ball against the wall and it boom, boom, bounce off it so fucking fast. It's kind of like that. It ricochets right back on their ass. Boom, boom. It's very interesting to watch. Very interesting. So the moral of that story is just don't fuck with people. Just don't fuck with people. So that you don't get your soul crushed because you couldn't fuck with them. Just don't fuck with people. Just leave people alone. You can choose to be kind. You can choose to be kind. I got that from Daniel Tiger, the animation Daniel Tiger. My kids love that cartoon. He literally says you can choose to be kind any day, any time. You can choose to be kind. But I know that a lot of people are not going, that's not going to sink in for a lot of people because there are a lot of damaged, hurt people in this world. And a lot of times, you know, because they are damaged and hurt, they will just spew their damagedness on other people, you know, to try to make themselves feel better about themselves, right? But yeah, got to be careful who you fuck with. And that's all I'm going to say there. 9 times out of 10, they are people close to you. Yeah, Nine times out of ten, there are people. Yeah, the closest people to you are the ones that do that stuff to you. Yeah. Well, because they know that because they're so close to you, they feel like they're the ones that can really break you. They feel like they're the ones that can really break you. You know, like parents. You know, like a parent will always feel like, oh, my kid is always going to want my love because I'm their mother or I'm their father. You know, they're always going to want me to validate them with my love because I have the title of parent. So I have this control over them that I'll always have over them. And then, so I can say and do whatever and it'll just crush their soul, you know. And to a certain extent, that's true. That's true, right? A lot of kids do want their parents to validate them with love and affection and things like that, right? That's why Tina Turner was still so messed up about her mama. I did a video on that too. I think I titled it Tina Turner Mother Hates Her, something like that. Tina Turner was talking about her mother in an interview, and Tina Turner was about 60 something years old, and still, her voice was still crackling, and she was still jacked up. Her mother was dead and gone for a long time. But her telling the story, she was still not fully healed from it, just from how her voice started cracking when she was talking about her mother. Because she still had was hoping that her mother would love her. She was still seeking the validation of love and affection from her mother. And I made the comment in my video. I said, "Isn't it crazy how Tina Turner, everybody loves Tina Turner all over the world. She is loved. She is loved all over the world. And the one person that she felt that should have loved her because she came from her didn't. And her mama used that as leverage over Tina Turner. The whole world loves you, and I'm the only one that you want to love you. I'm the only one that you seek validation from to love you. And all I got to do is just squish you like a bug and make you feel like this. And I'm the only one that can do it because I'm your mama." Her mother reveled in that shit. Her mother reveled in that shit. That she was the only one that could squish Tina and make her feel this little. That's fucked up. But Tina Turner said her mother wanted her success. Wanted her success, wanted her beauty, wanted her life. And she felt that if she gave her mother the life that she was living, that her mother would feel better about everything and that she would love her. So she bought her homes and cars and jewels and, you know, which in hindsight may have only worked to enable her to be exactly the way she was towards Tina. Oh, my daughter, she wants my love so bad that she keeps buying me the world. So I'll just keep treating her like shit. And then she'll keep trying to seek my love and I'll still get everything I want. But if Tina would have said, "Yeah, I love you, mom," you know, "Yeah, I'll buy you a house and I'll make sure your bills is paid, but I'm not fucking with you like that." That's probably what Tina should have did. Tina probably should have just not given her mother her. Just gave the world her. The people that showed her love, that she reciprocated love to, and that reciprocated it back in a genuine, authentic, unconditionally loving way. Those are the people she should have just gave her energy to. I don't feel that she should have gave energy to her mother because her mother just used and abused it. And if you constantly are around your abuser who uses and abuses you, you will never heal. Never. You will never heal. Never. Because you have this abuser that's in your life that is constantly abusing you. So how can you heal? You can't. That's why I say, like, when people are in really bad relationships, toxic relationships, and you trying this. I give this advice all the time. If you're in a toxic relationship, in an abusive relationship, one way of just with figuring out whether you should leave that relationship is to go and be to yourself for like a few weeks. It could be 2 weeks. Honestly, all you really need is 2 weeks. It can be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You just need to go and be away from that person, the spouse, whoever it is that you're in a relationship with. And you need to be in your own space, in your own place, in your own energy, right? And if you have anybody else around you, just make sure that it's somebody that uplifts you and makes you feel good and doesn't make you feel like shit, right? But it's good to just kind of just be to yourself for a couple weeks, just to, like, you being around your kids. You can be around your kids, that's fine, right? Kids energy is pure, and you being around your kids is absolutely fine, right? There's nothing wrong with that while you're away from the spouse. But a good way of realizing if you should be away from the spouse is being to yourself, not thinking about the spouse, not being concerned with how they are, you know, just only pouring into yourself only. And if you have your kids around you, pouring into your kids, but constantly just pouring into yourself, right? And then from being in your own energy for a couple weeks or a month, right? You come back into yourself. You start feeling more like yourself. You start doing things that you used to do that you may have forgot that you used to do. You know, things that you thought were lost to you, you realize they really weren't lost to you. You just kind of didn't, have a passion for it anymore because of the toxicity from the relationship that kind of dimmed your light and made you feel a certain way and made you, you know what I'm saying? And then after you have that time with yourself and you're feeling renewed and rejuvenated, and you're getting back more into who you are and rediscovering things about yourself, and bringing back the old things or whatever, and then you go back and be around that energy again, that spouse that you're not sure if you want to be with anymore. And if and then if your energy switches up, your attitude switches up, if you get anxiety, if you get not happy anymore the way you were happy when you were in your own energy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just kind of, you start comparing and contrasting. Oh, well, when I was by myself, I was this way. But when I came back around the spouse, it flipped, and I started feeling like shit again. And so that's how you compare and contrast whether you should be with that person. And if you go back to the person and you still feel like shit and you're not happy and you miserable and all that stuff, that's your answer. That's your answer. Get the fuck out. Deuces. Bye. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the person that don't want you to leave is going to give you a hard time about leaving, right? They could give you a hard time about leaving because they still want to hold on to you for whatever their selfish reasons are. They could want to hold on to you for finances. They could want to hold on to you to drain your energy. They could want to hold on to you because you're their energy booster, like, you're their inspiration, or you help them, discover this or figure that out, or what I'm saying, like, you know so they could have their different reasons for wanting to hold on to you. And so, and a lot of times they're selfish reasons. You ever heard the saying that if someone loves you, if you love someone enough, you have to let them go, right? If you truly love someone and you know that the relationship isn't what it used to be and it isn't what it should be, then you have to love the person enough to let them go. If you still hold on, knowing that the relationship is over, knowing that there's no more love like that there, knowing that, y'all can't stand each other and you're miserable, you know what I'm saying? And you still trying to hold on to the person, you're being selfish. You're doing it for your own selfish reasons. And it's not because of love, it's because of something else. And it's not right and it's not fair, right? So, um, and then you want to, and then sometimes they get revengeful, right? And then they want to, if you have kids, they want to use the kids against you. They want to use kids as pawns against you to hurt you. Oh, I'll take the kids. Oh, I'll hide the kids. Oh, and that's their way of keeping some type of control over you, right? Like puppet on a string. Using kids is a really, really big thing, right? Or I'll take this amount of money, or I'll take this and I'll do that and I'll, you know what I'm saying? When all that stuff starts transpiring, that's a control mechanism. So because you don't want to be with any me anymore, now I'm gonna hit you in your pockets, or now I'm gonna, do something with the kids, or now I'm gonna, that's control tactics. And it's fucked up. It makes the person, it actually shows you who you have been dealing with all along, because they show you a different side of them that you never even knew existed, right? And then when they show that side, you're like, oh, so that's who you really are. And I just didn't see it because I was so blinded by it. I was blinded by looks, or I was blinded by lust, or I was blinded by, a lot of times you're blinded by lust, because a lot of times, you know, um, that's the only thing being brought to the table, you know, company, lust, you know what I'm saying? And so you can be blinded by that, right? You forget to ask questions about other things. You forget to, um, you know, but you learn. Those are the things that you learn as you go on. You learn those things, and that's how you learn what you want and what you don't want, right? And a relationship with somebody, because you have to go through it in order to be able to discern it, right? So that's why I say I don't know if people can really be saved from really horrifying situations within relationships and stuff, because a lot of times people have to see for themselves in order to figure it out. And unfortunately, you can get caught up in some really, really bad situations, really, really bad situations, right? Situations worse than mine, right? And, but you learn, you definitely learn, and it helps you in the future in weeding out potential options. So that's where I'm at with it. Just weeding out potential options. But anyway, food for thought. Every scar I have was caused by people close to me, never from an enemy. Hmm, that is food for thought. Well, I mean, even as you get those scars even in childhood, right? I just talked about, like, I just literally spoke about how we grow up, and a lot of us are adult kids because a lot of us didn't get past that scar from when we were 7, 8, and 9, or even younger, right? And then we kind of just block out the things that happen to us, and then the people that are close to us that know certain things that happen to us, those are the ones that will trigger us, because they know what buttons to push, they know what things to do and what things to say in order to trigger us, right? And so, yeah, the ones close to you usually will hurt you, but you also have to be the one to discern the ones that are close to you, if they're there for good or if they're there for bad. Just because they're family or they're friends or whatever doesn't mean that the motherfuckers ain't evil. I just said it is good, bad, and evil people. You know what I'm saying? And the devil is in a lot of folks. And so you just, it don't matter who they are. It don't matter who they are. And a lot of times it's so hard for people to believe that, oh, but this person, I grew up with this person, or this person, this and this. No, they would never do this to me, but they're supposed to love me. Yeah, maybe they are supposed to love you, but they probably don't. Which Tina Turner had to admit that truth to herself, that painful truth to herself, that her own mother did not love her, that her own mother hated her, and she just wanted her success in her life. She wanted to be her. She wanted to be her. Her mother was jealous, severely jealous and envious of her daughter. Okay? And she had to admit that painful truth. And it's sad because that's somebody that she felt should love her, but she didn't. So, yeah, you do get a lot of scars from people close to you. And a lot of times those scars come, at a very, very young age. And unfortunately, my kids are being scarred at a very, very young age. Unfortunately, I was scarred at a young age. And I wanted to break that cycle with my own kids. And it seems like it's something that has repeated. But I won't stop until that shit is completely broken, right? It's broken with me in regards to, me going on and birthing more babies. I know now way more than I knew before, right? So if you're in an unhealthy relationship, you should never stay. Well, a lot of it's easier said than done, right? And a lot of times, the people that realize it, they do try to get out of the unhealthy relationships, and sometimes they don't make it out alive. Sometimes, you know what I mean? They try to get out, and tragedy strikes. How many times do we hear that story, right? It's easier said than done. Good afternoon. Hello. But anyway, y'all, I've been on here for about 2 hours. Oh my, I don't know if this is my longest live. This might be my second longest live. Um, but I'm going to get off and handle some business, and I'll probably come back on later. Maybe when I get with my cousin or whatever, we'll come back on later. Maybe she'll let me put her on camera. She's kind of camera shy, so I don't know if she's going to get on camera. But I know we can probably have some good discussions about some things. And if we're out and about on town, I'll definitely go live to kind of show you guys the area, see what's going on with the fires out here in Southern California, blah, 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 blah. So thank you for tuning in, y'all, to All Baddies Got a Story. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Like and share the video so other people can see them. Hit the notification bell so you are alerted when I do go live. Check out my other featured channels on this page, like my artistry page at that girl Shanda. Check out my podcast. Link is in the profile, but also have a few episodes in my podcast playlist folder right here on this channel. If you vibe with it, subscribe to the pod. And I also have just other links that leads to other social media content that I created, and it just kind of shows different layers of me, like with business and stuff like that. So I will talk to you guys in the next live. I might go live later. I'm gonna try to get my birthday breakfast. Yes, it's still morning time over here, y'all. So I'll try to see if I can get my free birthday breakfast that I was texted about. I'm excited about it. Okay. Talk to y'all later. Bye.